Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you all so much for joining Amtrak Vacations, as today the focus is part two of our National Park series featuring the Grand Canyon National Park. First and foremost, let me just take a minute to introduce myself, and hopefully we have some of you that have joined us on previous presentations that we've done online. My name is Jim Marini, and I'm proudly your host here this morning or this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are located around the world. We have over 1,000 people participating throughout today's presentations on the Grand Canyon. So thank you all so much again for taking the time to join me. Today's presentation is scheduled to be approximately about 45 minutes, give or take, with some questions and answers at the end. Also, I want to mention in the top left-hand corner, as you can see, I will be giving away a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card to one lucky person who took the time to join me here today and Amtrak Vacations. Also want to mention at the end, stay tuned because I will be announcing an exclusive discount for each and every one of you who attended here today. Also want to encourage all of you, if you have a pen and paper, please feel free to write down that 1-800 number to book any of these exciting trips that I highlight here today, or certainly contact your local travel agent. I also have our website listed in the bottom left-hand corner where you can see more about not only the trips I highlight here today, but certainly any others that you may be interested in. So anyway, without further ado, everyone, thank you all so much again for your time, and we will get started. I did want to mention, when you book any of these trips again, either give us a call, visit our website, or contact your local travel agent. So first and foremost, why Amtrak Vacations? For those of you that may not be as familiar with all the different rail vacations that we operate, these are actually the top 6 reasons that have been given to us over the last few years that we compiled from all of our travelers all over the world. The first, as you can see all the way to the left-hand side, everyone, it is a bucket list experience. And hopefully some of these reasons will resonate with many of you here today. People love the fact they can travel by train, stay at some of the beautiful lodges inside the national parks, have some of their meals taken care of, their sightseeing, their tours. Well, we can do it all for you, or certainly your local travel agent. They love how they can roam around the train. In fact, we encourage all of you, whenever you travel on any of our vacations, we want you to get up, walk around, stretch your legs, go to the observation car, the dining car. Also know it's less hassle. Did you know you can actually arrive at any of the Amtrak stations anywhere throughout the United States as close into departure as only 30 to 45 minutes and still be able to head out on your exciting rail vacation? The fourth point is city to city service. Now, today's presentation is being done from the Boston area, and I always love using New York City Penn Station as an example. That's just one of many great Amtrak stations, literally in the heart of the cities. And for those of you that have been in and out of Penn Station, as an example, as many of you know, you are within walking distance, within blocks of Times Square. You are within blocks of Broadway. Well, folks, the same applies to some of our beautiful national parks, such as Glacier National Park, as an example. The train station is approximately 208 steps away from Glacier Park Lodge. So location, location, location. The fifth point is satisfy your hunger. Now, many of you may realize this already, certainly if you've traveled on board with Amtrak Vacations, but whenever any of you upgrade to either a roomette or a bedroom, which would be part of our sleeper category on board the train, folks, all your meals will be included at no additional charge. So that is a great value. Definitely keep that in mind. Not only, of course, do you have your own private accommodations on board the train during your overnight journey from the city you depart from until the city you arrive, but during that journey, you get all your meals included as well. And the last point is flexibility. We have daily departures, and in some cases, multiple departures daily, certainly throughout a lot of the major cities in the United States. Now, speaking of the United States, everyone, where does Amtrak travel to? You know, I always love showing this map at the beginning of all of my presentations. Did you know last year alone, over 32 million people traveled on board Amtrak? Over 32 million people. If Amtrak was an airline, it would actually be the fifth largest airline in the United States. Now, some fun little trivia for everyone is the train itself, all the trains, actually travels to 46 out of the 48 states within the continental United States. In fact, the only two states the train does not physically travel through, again, in the continental United States, are the states of South Dakota. Now, what you'll also notice is if you look above the beautiful map of the United States and all the different train routes, as you can see, with all the different colors of where the train travels to, we also connect into the beautiful country, our friendly neighbor in Canada, through the great cities of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. So on any vacation, everyone, you can combine not only Amtrak, but also Via Rail, which is the national train system of Canada. And we can book it all for you in one call, as well as your local travel agent. All right, so keep that in mind. And speaking of your local travel agent, certainly for any of you that want to fly to and or from the starting and ending city, your local travel agent can also book flights for you as well, besides the entire package. Interestingly enough, there's over 500 Amtrak stations throughout the United States, and you can begin and or end your journey at your local Amtrak station. So folks, for those of you who don't want to fly, you can board from your local Amtrak station and do any trip round trip if you choose. So again, you get to decide if you want to go round trip completely by rail, if you want to start at your local Amtrak station, travel out to the great national parks, and then at the end fly home, or fly to one great city, do the train trip in the middle, and fly home however you choose. Now, the good news is, everyone, I had to put this picture in. I hope you love seeing this picture. There are no middle seats on board Amtrak, everyone. How great is that, right? Now, obviously, some of us, I'm sure, may have been in this middle seat as many of us fly. But once you're on board the train, everyone, there's 2 extra large seats on one side and 2 extra large seats on the other. Now, here at Amtrak Vacations, we have many different travel styles. Today's focus is going to be not only, of course, on the beautiful Grand Canyon and some of our most popular packages that we have available, but also some of the other different types of independent journeys. Now, independent journeys, these are typically anywhere from 5 to 7, 10, up to 12 and 14 days in length. They're daily departures, multiple cities, multiple destinations. We also have family adventures, everyone. So for those of you who look at a travel with your children or grandchildren, we have packages available, not only, of course, to the beautiful Grand Canyon, but even to other great destinations such as Washington, D.C., Niagara Falls, and Toronto, which I actually just had the pleasure of taking my wife and 3 children this past year. We have rail and sail packages out to Alaska. We have 3, 4, and 5-day rail getaways. And of course, the beautiful national parks. Part 2 of our national park series. So here we are, folks, the Grand Canyon National Park. Now, for those of you that have never been there or certainly dreamed of traveling to the beautiful Grand Canyon, did you know it's actually considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the world? Located right here in the United States in the beautiful state of Arizona. Now, once you get to the beautiful Grand Canyon, there's so much to see and do. Here's just a little map of the Grand Canyon Historic Village. And if you take a look at it, as you can see, it's really a very walkable area once you're there. There are shuttles that also can bring you around to some of the different sites in and around the village itself. But what's nice is we can get space in the lodges inside the Grand Canyon. Folks, these are hard to get. As many of you that have traveled to some of the beautiful national parks, as many of you know, many times they book a year to a year and a half out. And even if you were to get space, the rates could be double, if not triple. Well, we have space already put aside in most of these lodges. So all you have to do is pick up that phone. Again, give us a call or contact your local travel agent to hear more. Now, the beautiful part of the Grand Canyon, everyone, is you can travel throughout all 4 seasons. So unlike some of the other beautiful national parks that are very seasonal, meaning they only operate 2 or 3 or 4 months during the year, the Grand Canyon, you could travel anytime from January all the way through December. So certainly for those of us, including myself, who may be located in areas that can get a little bit cooler or snowier or rainier during certain times of the year, how about escaping out to the beautiful Grand Canyon where it's just beautiful, sunny, very low humidity, and the scenery is spectacular. Now, the main train that's typically used throughout our journeys getting to and or from Arizona and in and around the beautiful Grand Canyon is the train known as the Southwest Chief. Okay. Now, the train itself can start right from, again, your local Amtrak station, where then for those of us located in the East Coast or South or Midwest, you can head west. For those of you already located in the West Coast, of course, you can head east out to and towards the beautiful Grand Canyon. Now, where the train actually arrives is actually in the city of Flagstaff, where then you have a shuttle transfer right over to Williams. Now, Williams is along Route 66. Some of you may have been there as well. Definitely has that Wild West type of feel. So you'll get a chance to see that once you arrive in Williams. And the nice treat of any of our Grand Canyon packages, everyone, is not only do you get a chance, of course, to visit the beautiful Grand Canyon, not only do you get a chance to experience traveling on board the Southwest Chief Amtrak train itself, but we actually partner with the Grand Canyon Railway. Folks, this is your main form of transportation from Williams, Arizona, directly into the beautiful Grand Canyon. Now, once you arrive in Williams, Arizona, for those of us that are heading west from Chicago, typically the train arrives in the evening into Flagstaff, where then you're transferred into Williams, where typically you'll spend a night at one of the lodges and hotels before transferring the next morning from Williams on the Grand Canyon Railway into the Grand Canyon. Now, the train itself from Williams to the Grand Canyon, everyone, just so you know, it's only about 2 hours long, so it's a great little experience. And again, so many people love it. And typically what will happen is for those folks that are, again, traveling from the eastern United States or certainly eastern Canada and traveling out west, whether it's from the east, the Midwest, the south, heading west, again, you arrive. So typically you spend one night right there in Williams. You'll have breakfast included in the morning, as well as a little Wild West show, which is located right on the grounds of the actual hotel itself. And that's a lot of fun. Once that happens, then typically mid-morning, then you'll board the Grand Canyon Railway, where then you travel into the beautiful Grand Canyon. And I have to say, the Grand Canyon Railway, it is a fantastic experience. So, you know, again, folks, if you love trains or certainly have wanted to experience some of these great trains in the United States, of course, you have that experience with Amtrak, but you also have it with the Grand Canyon Railway. And there's a little picture of the Wild West show in the top right-hand corner. Don't be surprised if they come on board, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, or certainly the top left-hand corner. It is just a fantastic experience. And then from there, of course, that's when you'll travel out towards the beautiful Grand Canyon. Now, one thing to keep in mind too is, which I'm going to definitely suggest to all of you, definitely consider upgrading on the Grand Canyon Railway to first class, because it gives you definitely kind of that 19th century experience once you're on board the train. You'll also have snacks and drinks included. The seating is a little more spacious, a little more comfortable. There's also an option to even upgrade to the luxury dome car, which is the picture I just showed everyone previously, which is a step above even the first class. So again, you get to decide if you want to travel in coach seat, first class, or even the luxury dome car experience. But it certainly is fantastic. Now, the hotel that we typically stay at, again, either for the first night for those of us traveling west, or for a night or two, even if you're traveling locally in the West Coast, is the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. And this is a fantastic property. As you can see in the top right-hand corner on this picture, everyone, yes, bring your bathing suits, all right? Bring your bathing suits, very comfortable. And again, it has that charm. It has that certainly rustic feel. It is just absolutely fantastic. So you'll get a chance to spend time there. And again, just an amazing experience overall. Now, as I mentioned, when you have breakfast included in the morning over at the hotel, it's typically a buffet style breakfast. And here is the Grand Depot Cafe. Now, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I really want to highlight on this again, because I I think this is truly one of the biggest and most popular reasons why the Grand Canyon for Amtrak vacations, just so everyone knows, is our #1 most popular package in the United States. And folks, this is one of the biggest reasons. Again, I can't say enough about it. We can get space with and inside most of the lodges in the Grand Canyon. Okay, so here's an example of one of them. El Tavar, very, very beautiful property. It's actually one of the nicest located in the Grand Canyon. And as you can see, from the dining in the top left-hand corner to the accommodations in the top right-hand corner, to the porch area in the bottom left-hand corner, very, very spacious, very comfortable. Now, for those of you that want a little more of that rustic type of feel, well, we have options available. Maswick Hotel, as an example, okay? And our feeling is, and I'm sure many of you will agree, when you're in the national parks, whether it be Grand Canyon, Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, Yosemite, you want to be in the heart of the action. That is these hotels, that is these lodges. Now, what's nice is once you spend time, of course, in the hotel, you are treated to a motor coach rim tour. And this will be a nice opportunity. This typically happens once you actually arrive into the Grand Canyon, having traveled on the Grand Canyon Railway. And it's typically in the afternoon, a half-day sightseeing tour with a local tour guide who's also your driver. So he or she is with you as you do a motor coach rim tour. And it is a fantastic experience. Now, this is included in all of our Grand Canyon packages. Now, we do have some optional activities, such as a helicopter rim tour. So for those of you joining myself who want something a little more adventurous, well, this is available, okay? And you have that option if you choose. So again, you just let your local travel agent know, or certainly let us know, and we will help you with those accommodations. So as promised, let's take a look at our most popular packages. Now, folks, I'm going to start out with our getaway packages. Now, our most popular getaway packages right here. This is our Grand Canyon getaway trip, everyone, round trip from Chicago. Now, for those of you joining myself here today who may be located out of the East Coast, the South, okay, or certainly the West Coast, and you're wondering, okay, well, how do I get to Chicago? Well, again, you can start from your local Amtrak station, and all we or your local travel agent would do would just add on that portion of the train to get you to and from Chicago. Certainly for those of you who don't want to fly, or certainly for those of you who don't mind flying, very easy flights into Chicago, whether you're flying into Chicago O'Hare or Midway. And again, your local travel agent can help you with your accommodations. Now, as I mentioned again, the train itself, the Grand Canyon Railway, departs from Williams. So we include round trip service in coach accommodations, again, with the option if you choose to upgrade to either first class or the luxury dome car. Once you're in the Grand Canyon, though, everyone, just get ready to enjoy the scenery and soak it all up, as you'll be treated to a Grand Canyon Motor Coach Freedom Tour. Did you know the Grand Canyon itself, everyone, is actually up to 277 miles long? It's up to 18 miles wide. Again, considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the world. 6 days, 5 nights, folks. Look at that price in the top right-hand corner. It is more expensive to stay home. Why not experience some of the beauty within our own country, or certainly for those of you located around the world, right here of what we have to offer in the United States? A little over $1,000 per person. Now, one thing to keep in mind, not only on this package, everyone, but every trip that I highlight, the only items not included in the pricing that you see would be the cost to upgrade to either a roomette or a bedroom, which again, I'm going to highly recommend. I'm sure for many of you that have traveled on board Amtrak and have traveled overnight and been in either a roomette or bedroom, I'm sure many of you would agree, because again, not only do you have your own private accommodations, but you also have all your meals included during the overnight journey from one city that you depart from to the next city you arrive in, but also how you get to and from the starting and ending city. So those are the only 2 items not included in any of the packages that we or your local travel agent can easily add in and accommodate any of your requests. By the way, did I mention any trip that you see here today to the Grand Canyon, or certainly any trips in the United States or Canada, any of them can also be customized. So if you want to make the trip a little longer or make it a little shorter, any trip can be customized. Now, speaking of shorter trips, here's another great getaway trip. Now, for the folks who want to spend time in beautiful California or are located in the west coast of the United States, here's a nice round trip package from Los Angeles. So unlike the previous package, which is round trip from Chicago, this one is round trip from Los Angeles. Okay, so again, you have that option as well. As you can see here, it spends 2 nights in the Grand Canyon. Now, some of you may want to spend 3 nights, and you absolutely can. So you can absolutely add extra days in any of the national parks, and in particular, the Grand Canyon. Now, what you'll notice about this trip is because it's round trip from Los Angeles, you actually arrive in the morning into Flagstaff before getting transferred to Williams, where then you'll have breakfast, the Wild West show, and then you depart. So in this case, there are no overnight stays at the beginning because, again, the train arrives early in the morning. As I mentioned, this trip on Amtrak is on the train known as the Southwest Chief. Some of you may have been on board the train, considered to be one of the top 5 most scenic train rides in all of the United States. And again, no different from the Grand Canyon getaway package from Chicago. This will also include a Freedom Tour as well as round trip transportation from Williams. 5 days, 4 nights. Look at this price, everyone, right? Real great value. Now, again, the only items not included is the cost of upgrading to a roomette or a bedroom, as well as how you get to and from the starting and ending city. Now, for those of you who not only want Grand Canyon, but you want something a little more, a little longer, a little more inclusive of some of the other great areas, well, now we're getting into some of the larger packages as well. So certainly for those of you who want to see some of the other great cities and destinations in and around the Grand Canyon, here's another one of our most popular packages, the Grand Canyon Explorer. Now, Albuquerque, right? Home of the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival, which happens every October. So folks, if you've ever dreamed of traveling not only to the beautiful Grand Canyon, but also seeing the Balloon Festival, October is the month to consider. Santa Fe, another fantastic city, has definitely that Southwest type of feel. Adobe style homes, not only within Albuquerque, but also Santa Fe. It has some great souvenirs such as the Dreamcatcher. In fact, interestingly enough, as I'm doing today's presentation, directly in front of me is a Dreamcatcher that I purchased a few years ago when I also traveled to this beautiful area. And the Dreamcatcher, the theory behind it is it lets the bad dreams through and keeps the good dreams on the little web. Okay, Grand Canyon National Park, again, just like every trip I'm highlighting, this is your major highlight. Now, by the way, the canyon itself is estimated to be up to 6,000 feet deep, everyone. The Colorado River actually runs through it. And believe it or not, some of the rocks at the bottom of the Grand Canyon are estimated to be up to 2 billion years old. Okay. Flagstaff and Sedona are another great part of this particular package where you'll have a sightseeing tour included. Folks, this trip is 9 days, 8 nights, starting as low as $15.99 per person. By the way, all the prices you see here are based on double occupancy. We do have single rates available as well. And again, any trip can start and or end wherever you would like. So again, for those of you who do not like to fly and you want to do the entire trip by train, again, we can absolutely, or certainly a local travel agent can absolutely help you with those arrangements. If you want to fly to the starting city, do the trip, and then fly home, again, your local travel agent can also help you with flights as well as the entire package. Now, for those of you that want the Grand Canyon, but in this case, also want to experience what it's like to overnight on board the train, here's the answer, everyone. Grand Canyon Discovery. Now, one thing I want to mention too is as you're looking at the maps of any of these trips that I'm highlighting, I just want to point out 2 things, okay? You can see the little round circles, the little black round circles with the number 1, the number 2. Folks, that just lets you know how many nights that you're staying in each of the cities, okay? So as an example, you have 2 nights in Chicago, 2 nights in Santa Fe, 1 night in the Grand Canyon, 1 in Williams, and then 2 in Flagstaff. And again, any of these can be adjusted. So if you want to spend 2 nights in the Grand Canyon or 3 nights, Again, we can easily add or take out days depending on what you would like. The other nice thing I will mention when it comes to hotels in the different cities or national parks, you also get to choose everyone between 3, 4, up to 5 star or 5 diamond hotels. Okay, so for those of you that are trying to stay within a certain budget and you like great properties such as the Holiday Inn, well, excellent. Those are fantastic, and we use so many of them. Others of you that prefer Hilton or Marriott or Sheraton or Westin properties, we have many different hotels to choose from. Obviously, when you're in the national parks, those are gonna be the lodges. That's where you want to be on any of these exciting trips. Now, for those of you that are interested in this particular trip, where again, not only do you have a chance to spend a couple nights at Chicago, but then you overnight on board the Southwest Chief. Chicago is a fantastic city. Hopefully some of you have been there or certainly may even be located out of the beautiful Midwest. Great cuisine, known for its deep dish pizza. If you're a sports fan or not, certainly the Chicago Cubs and Wrigley Field is such an iconic sight to see. They have the Chicago hot dogs. It's home of the famous Willis Tower, which is formerly the Sears Tower. As you can see on the right-hand side, we include a hop-on, hop-off tour. This is fantastic, everyone, okay? This is a great way. So I want to mention this for a minute because what you'll find is on most of our trips, certainly throughout all the major cities in the United States that are included on our tours, we always typically include hop on, hop off tours. And these are a great way to get in and around the cities and towns without having to rent a car, without having to get a taxi, okay? So keep that in mind. I know if my children were here today, they would tell you it's one of their favorite highlights. It is one of my favorite highlights. They're typically on either trolleys or they're double-decker buses. And again, you get to get off and spend as much or as little time as you want. Every hop-on, hop-off tour throughout any of the cities are typically all day long from early morning to late in the evening. And they have buses picking people up at different stops all throughout the day. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, this trip also, just like the previous trip, includes Santa Fe, but again, it starts at Chicago, where then you have an overnight journey on the Southwest Chief on your way to Santa Fe before traveling into Flagstaff, getting transferred by shuttle to Williams, where then you board the Grand Canyon Railway, again, back into the beautiful Grand Canyon National Park. Now, just a little fun trivia. Do you know the Grand Canyon actually became a national park here in the United States back in 1919? It actually was the 17th national park established here in the United States. Now, this also includes Flagstaff and Sedona. So when we look at the difference of the previous package to this package, folks, it's 2 days, 2 nights rather, in Chicago with an overnight journey on board the train. Again, pricing based in coach seating with the option to upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom. And I'm going to be showing everyone some exciting pictures of what the roomettes and bedrooms look like so you get a better idea what is your best option to choose from. Folks, the last package I want to highlight that is really our grand of the grand package to the Grand Canyon is our Grand National Parks. Now, what you'll notice about this particular package, everyone, is not only does it include the beautiful Grand Canyon, but it also includes Yellowstone and Yosemite. So you get not only 3 amazing national parks, but you also get 3 amazing train experiences. The first one is the train known as the California Zephyr. Some of you may have been on this train. It is fantastic. This is the train from Chicago heading out to San Francisco, where it literally, when I say literally slices through the mountains of the Rocky Mountains. I went on this trip 2 years ago. Then from there, you're on the Coast Starlight, rated the most scenic train route in the United States the last 2 years in a row, from San Francisco down to Los Angeles. And then, of course, the Southwest Chief bringing you to the beautiful Grand Canyon at the end. Now, one thing I want to mention is not only in the Grand Canyon, but every national park that we visit, whether it's on this trip or any of our packages, you will always have anywhere from a half a day to a full day guided sightseeing tour on 1 to 2 of the days that you're there. Many times, if there's an opportunity to include a riverboat cruise, we do that as well. So definitely just know many of these trips have some great activities already included. As an example, Yellowstone. Now, Some of you may know this, but when you travel to Yellowstone, folks, that's actually not on the train itself. It actually is on a motor coach sightseeing tour from Salt Lake City. It's about a 5 to 6 hour journey with stops along the way. But our feeling is you're so close to Yellowstone, being in Salt Lake City, we have to include it. And that you'll have a full day guided sightseeing tour of the lower loop from your tour guide slash driver. The same applies for Yosemite National Park. Now, this is a full day guided sightseeing tour from San Francisco because just like Yellowstone, there is no train that physically goes to Yosemite. So we include it as a motor coach sightseeing tour round trip from San Francisco. Obviously, the Grand Canyon, we know how we get there. It's on the Grand Canyon Railway. Absolutely fantastic. And that's included. And again, keep in mind the option if you choose to upgrade on the Grand Canyon Railway to either first class or the luxury dome car. This trip itself, again, one of our grand national parks. By the way, we have 3 different versions of this trip, 3 different versions. This is our most popular. That includes the Grand Canyon, but it also includes, as you can see on the top left-hand corner, Yellowstone and Yosemite. We have a 14-day package that is Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. And then, folks, believe it or not, we have a 15-day trip that includes the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park, all round trip from Chicago. And again, any of these trips can be round trip from your local Amtrak station. Certainly for those of you who don't want to fly, or if you choose to fly, well, of course, this trip starts and ends in the great city of Chicago. Your local travel agent can help you with the entire package as well as your flights. Now, as promised, let's take a look at the onboard accommodations. And the first picture that I'm going to show everyone, I'm just going to leave this up for a minute because I think this is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure many of you will agree. Again, everyone, remember what I said at the beginning of today's presentation. Over 32 million people traveled on board Amtrak. And I can tell you firsthand, I've been with the company almost 5 years. When I started, there was a little over 29 million people that had traveled on board Amtrak. Amtrak now just passed 32 million. Why? Because it's about the experience. Your journey begins the minute you actually step foot on board the train. Okay, so keep that in mind on any of these exciting trips. Now, coach accommodations. When you're traveling during the day, everyone, this is your standard coach accommodations. Take a look at the leg room. We would have to pay a premium to get that type of leg room on some of the major airlines, right? What's included? Reclining seats, as you can see here. Storage for luggage. Access to the dining car and sightseeing lounge car. You can bring your own snacks and food as well. Again, if my wife and children were here, they would tell you firsthand, bring your iPad, your laptop, your mobile devices. As you can see, right there in the middle of the screen, there's actually an outlet that you can charge any device that you have, okay? By the way, wireless is free of charge throughout the major cities in the United States. But let's talk about overnight accommodations. Let's talk about our sleepers, okay? Now we have 2 different levels. We have roomettes, which is what you see right here, and we have bedrooms. And I'm gonna explain the difference, okay? First off, let me just mention roomettes for us, everyone, they are by far our most popular category of any sleeping accommodation on board the train. And folks, they're also our most affordable. Okay, on an average, it's only about $200 to $300 extra per person to upgrade from a coach seat, which is the picture I just showed everyone, to a roomette on any of the overnight journeys. But again, what's included? Daytime seating that also converts into beds. Okay, so what you're looking at here on the left-hand side, as you can see, the lady sitting down, very comfortable. That chair folds into the lower bunk bed, as you can see in the diagram on the bottom right-hand side, okay? Climate controls, there's a small closet, a fold-down table, restroom and shower access. So if you look at the diagram on the bottom right-hand side, everyone, as you can see, there are no toilets or showers inside of a roomette. But again, remember what I mentioned. These are by far our most popular and most affordable sleepers on board the train because why? Right down the hall, just like you would have at your own home, there's typically 4 toilets and 2 showers. And the only people that have access to those toilets and showers are other folks in roomettes and bedrooms, okay? Also, bed linens, all meals during the overnight journey from one city to the next city. Also includes assistance from the sleeping car attendant. There's typically one sleeping car attendant for every sleeping train car that consists of roomettes and bedrooms. Now, you know yourselves the best, everyone. If you absolutely want your own private toilet and shower inside of your own room, no worries. We have you covered, everyone. That is a bedroom. Now, bedrooms typically fit 2 adults and one small child, so they're a little bit larger in size. But what's included here? Convertible bed, climate controls, in-room sink, vanity, enclosed toilet and shower, bed linens, all meals, okay? Also including assistance from your sleeping car attendant. All right, absolutely fantastic. Now, where do I recommend all of you spend your time during the day? Folks, this is what I do every time I travel on any of our overnight journeys, especially to the beautiful Grand Canyon and out to any of the beautiful national parks, whether it's Glacier, Yellowstone, Yosemite, even out to the beautiful Western United States, okay? Take advantage of the sightseeing lounge car. This is the glass dome rail car, everyone. This is free of charge, okay? And by the way, speaking of free of charge, let me mention something else that I think is so exciting. Many of you may be aware of this. Did you know you can actually bring up to 2 pieces of luggage per person, up to 2 pieces of luggage per person, up to 50 pounds each, free of charge. Also, you can bring 2 carry-on bags per person, free of charge. All right. Now, sightseeing lounge car, this is open seating, but again, it's free. This is where you could spend a good portion of your day. And by the way, any folks that are in roomettes or bedrooms, you also have free access to any available coach seat on board the train. Now, again, when you are in a sleeper, whether it's a roomette or a bedroom, all of your meals, everyone, are included on board the train. That is such a fantastic highlight. As you can see here in the top picture, it is sit-down service, okay? White tablecloth service. You have your own waiter or waitress on board. You can order off the menu. Did you know there's actually a private chef on board the train, everyone, during any of the overnight long distance trains out to the beautiful national parks? I'll give you an example. I was just actually on a trip recently myself out to the beautiful Glacier National Park, okay? And during my overnight journey, in the morning, I had a choice of omelets, eggs, waffles, pancakes, coffee, tea, scones, French toast. By the way, French toast, fantastic. Okay, absolutely fantastic. Lunch, turkey clubs, cheeseburgers, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, salads. Okay, dinner time. By the way, they're known for the steak. So any of you that enjoy steak, they're known for what's called their signature steak. But we do have vegetarian options. There's pasta, not to mention the desserts are delicious. If any of you have any special dietary requests, again, no worries. Let us know. Let your local travel agent know. We will help you with those accommodations. So really, when it comes to meals, for any of you that are traveling in a roomette or a bedroom, the only items not included at the meals would be any alcoholic beverages that you order at dinner time, as well as tips and gratuities for the waiter or waitress. Obviously, those of you in coach, dining is available, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at an additional charge. Now, again, as I mentioned, these are our most popular packages. Certainly you can view these more in depth if you choose, or certainly just pick up that phone, give any of our specialists a call. I can tell you right now, the phones are ringing off the hook. So if you are interested, let us know or let your local travel agent know, and we will help you. Before I announce today's winner at the very end and also tell you about the exciting specials that we have for you, let me just mention a few of our most frequently asked questions, okay? And some of you may be thinking some of these same questions yourselves, okay? First question, can you begin the packages in one city and do just a portion of the package? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Again, any of these trips can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like, to include as much or as little as you would like, to start and or end where you would like, so we and or your local travel agent can find the right package at the right price for you. The second question, are the hotels included in the itinerary? And the answer is yes. All the pricing typically is based in our hotels that would be more of the moderate level hotels, such as Holiday Inns, with the option to also choose between Hilton's, Marriott's, Sheraton, Westin's, Again, these trips, everyone, especially when you're in the national parks, you want to be in the lodges. And we have different lodges you can choose from depending on availability. The third question is, can we add days in the national parks to these itineraries? And the answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, we encourage you to do that, certainly if you have a little extra time and it's within your budget. The fourth question is, are you permitted to bring your own wine on board the train if you enjoy it in private? And the answer is yes. You have to be booked in either a roomette or a bedroom, but alcohol is allowed on board the train, and it has to be consumed from the privacy of your own roomette or bedroom, but it is allowed. So that's a great highlight. And the last question is, how many sleeping rooms are there on each train? Well, typically for every sleeping car, which consists of roomettes and bedrooms, on an average, there's 15 to 20 roomettes. They are double-decker trains from Chicago heading west to the beautiful national parks, the Grand Canyon, Glacier, Yellowstone, Yosemite. So they're 2 levels, okay? Roomettes on both levels, and then also bedrooms, typically 7 to 10 for every sleeping car. So obviously, as you can see, there's less bedrooms, but roomettes are by far our most popular category. So regardless what category you're interested in, just pick up that phone, reach out to either us, that phone number is listed there, visit our website, or certainly contact your local travel agent. Certainly also, if you'd like to book flights, round trip, or certainly one way, they can put the entire package together for you, including flights as well. Now, the last portion of today's presentation is part one of our 2 updates that I have. First off, everyday discount. Any of you that are on the train itself, okay, over the age of 62, you get a 15% discount on the rail portion of a package. Children ages 2 to 12 receive up to 50. And here's the good news, everyone. That's not a typo. Any children or grandchildren you're looking to travel with to the beautiful Grand Canyon, they could save up to 50% off on the rail portion. Folks, this is why I travel with my wife and 3 children. Why? Because they're between the ages of 2 and 12. And last but not least, certainly military. Thank you all so much for your service. Any active duty military, your spouses receive up to 10% on the rail portion of a package. Now, I did want to mention to everyone in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, don't forget to download the handout that we created here that highlights these same exciting trips that I presented on here today, and also highlights our special exclusive attendee discount, which is also right here on the screen, everyone. If you have a phone or you have a pen and paper, everyone, feel free to write this down. But here it is, everyone, okay? Above and beyond any other current discounts that may apply to each and every one of you, just because each and every one of you took the time to join us here today, we want to say thank you to you. And here's how we're going to do it, okay? Any of you who upgrade to a sleep and accommodation on any rail package, not only to the Grand Canyon, but for those of you who may be interested in other areas of the United States or even up into Canada, as long as you upgrade to either a roomette or a bedroom or any sleep and accommodation, okay, on board the train, we will take an additional $100 off per couple. Now, as you can see, this is an offer we did last year. Here's the good news. This is up to April 4th, 2018. So 2018, and the promo code is WebGran100, WebGran100. So I just want to mention that. This was a promo that we did last year. It did fantastic. We've now extended it to be the same promotion for this year. So you have from now until April 4th of 2018 to take advantage of this exciting promotion. So first and foremost, before we open it up to any questions that we have, and I see a lot of folks have a lot of questions, and folks, I think we've done pretty well. I promised we'd be about 45 minutes, give or take. All right, so first and foremost, let's announce who the winner of our $100 Amtrak Vacations gift certificate is. So the winner of today is Arnold Burke. Arnold Burke, congratulations. You are the winner of our $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. So you will be receiving an email, and that can be used on any trip this year. that you choose to travel on. Okay, so first and foremost, congratulations to Arnold. And as promised, we have a lot of questions. So what I want to do, everyone, is any questions that you have as I'm reading through others, feel free to type any additional questions that you have, and I will do my very best to answer them. Before I do, again, just a reminder, pick up that phone, give us a call, or certainly contact your local travel agent to book any of these exciting trips or certainly any others that you may be interested. So, with that in mind, let's go through the questions. All right. So, thank you again, everyone. So, here we go. First one from Richard. I booked a vacation with a roomette. Do I need to bring cash for tipping or can I use a credit card for tips? Great question, Richard. My advice is to, yes, absolutely bring cash. On an average, it's typically $2 to $3 per person per day for the tips itself. So I always suggest to bring anywhere from $20 up to $60 per person, depending on the length of your trip. Obviously, if it's just a getaway trip, you only need a less amount of money. If it's a longer, 1, 2, 3 week journey, then of course feel free to bring extra. They will also, they can accept credit cards as well, but I always suggest to definitely bring cash as that is the preferred method if possible. All right. Next one from Stephen. How far ahead can Amtrak vacations be booked? Great question, Stephen. Right now, we have dates and rates finalized all the way up until the end of March of 2019. However, if anyone's interested beyond that, just let us know, let your local travel agent know so we can make sure to put aside that space for you as it does fill up fast. Let's see. Stephen, does Amtrak have any preferred pricing arrangements with airlines for people who want to fly as part of their vacation experience? For example, flying from the East Coast to Seattle and taking Amtrak back to the East Coast. Great question, Stephen. We actually do not have any preferred partners. Reason why being is we have travelers who come from all over the world who travel on any of our vacations. However, certainly for any of you looking to fly either round trip and doing the train trip in the middle or fly out one direction and then come home by train, if you have frequent flyer mileage yourself, certainly take advantage of that. I will tell you, I do as well. I use some of the major airlines myself, so I accumulate points. So feel free to know that you can also do the same. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Great questions. Okay, from Gene, how can we go from Oklahoma to the Grand Canyon without going to Chicago? Great question. How can you go from Oklahoma to the Grand Canyon? Here's what I'm going to suggest, Gene, is again, our reservationists, and by the way, folks, we're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your local travel agents also are open similar business hours as well. So however you prefer to book your trip, just my advice is to reach out to your local travel agent as they'll work with you to find the best routing that works for you. So obviously in some cases it may be easier to fly to the starting city and then do the train trip and then fly back home. Other cases you can do the entire trip locally on board wherever there's a local Amtrak station itself. I do know folks from Oklahoma, many times they'll journey south into Texas and then head west out to Arizona and Los Angeles before then traveling out to the Grand Canyon. So again, however you prefer, but any of our reservationists as well as your local travel agent can help you to find the best form of transportation and really the best routing, the best route to get you there. Okay, thanks, Gene. Great question. Okay, when you buy a vacation package, are coach seats assigned seating or general seating? Great question, Stephen. Coach seats are open seating. So the only times you'd have reserved seating, folks, is when you are in either a roomette or a bedroom. Either a roomette or a bedroom is when you would have assigned seats or assigned rooms rather, but coach seating is first available. Okay, let's see. Thank you all. Great question. Let's see. Great question, Cecilia. Can you use both a senior discount and AAA together? So just so you know, only one discount applies per person on the rail portion of the package. So the picture I showed everyone previously, which is our everyday discount, only one discount applies per person, but whatever the larger discount is, everyone, you will get the largest discount. So if one discount is 10% and the other one is 15%, if you qualify for both, we or your local travel agent will give you the higher discount. All right. Let's see. Okay. From Kay, is the train quiet for sleeping? Absolutely, Kay. I've been on many, many overnight journeys. From coach to roomette to bedroom, very, very quiet. People are always very respectful when traveling, certainly overnight. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate the kind words. Okay, let's see here. Um, let's see. From Chris, I've seen roomettes with the toilet in them. Is that not true anymore? Always thought it was weird to sleep with the toilet. Yeah, Chris, that's a great question. So, just a little fun trivia for everyone. All the trains from Chicago East. So, Chris, you're actually correct. All the trains from Chicago East to New York City, Boston, where I'm located, those are known as Viewliner trains. And Viewliner are single level. So with the Viewliner, they actually do have a partial bathroom in a roomette. But because today, obviously, the focus is the Grand Canyon and any of the national parks that head from Chicago west, those are superliners. So in that case, roomettes do not have a toilet and shower in the room, but they're right down the hall. I will say firsthand, I've traveled, again, in roomettes and bedrooms. I enjoy both. Roomettes, one thing to keep in mind is the toilets and showers, although they're not in the room, they are private yet shared. They are full size toilets and showers, which is nice, okay? Whereas obviously a bedroom has its own private toilet and shower in the room, but again, it's inside, so it's a little it's a little more combined within the space itself. So again, it just depends what you prefer. That both options are available. So thank you, Chris. Great question. Let's see, Ruth Ann, how do you access the top bed? Is there a guard that can be put in place? Absolutely, Ruth Ann. In fact, funny enough, Ruth Ann, my wife and I, we travel, and I always get the top bunk bed. And yes, there's actually a latch that latches up. It's almost like almost like a partial door that comes in front of you with a netting. So yeah, you're absolutely safe. And the way to get up top, there's just there's a couple little steps that you would step on to just go right up to the top bunk bed. So very easy. It's part of the experience, and that's what I always say, which is a lot of fun. All right. What was the discount code again? Thank you, Andrea. Yep, let's go back to that. So right here, again, this was our promo we did last year. We're now offering the same exact one. I just wanted to list that. So this is until April 4th of 2018. The promo code is WebGrand100. WebGrand100. And again, that's for any of you, as long as you book by April 4th of this year to travel anytime in 2018, as long as you upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom on board any package, not only to the Grand Canyon, but any trip you're interested in that involves an overnight train where you upgrade to a sleeper, we'll take $100 off the total price. Otherwise, $50 off per person. Okay. Thank you, Andrea. Great question. All right. Okay, everyone. And we're just scheduled to be just about 1 hour. So I'm going to try to get to as many more questions as I can. And if I don't get to your questions, folks, please pick up that phone, reach out to us, contact your local travel agent who can help you with any of them, okay? But great questions. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. How far out do you need to schedule a trip? Can it be fairly spontaneous, or does it need to be planned a year or so out? That is a great question, Jordan. Rule of thumb in general is the sooner you plan, the better. The farther out you plan, the better rates we can get, the better accommodations that we can get. But in saying that, we have folks sometimes that will call us 1 to 2 months in advance, and as long as space is available, we can accommodate you as well. But rule of thumb is the sooner you know, the sooner you book, the better you plan out your trip, the better pricing that we can get for you. Okay. Let's see. When sleeping, how safe are your valuables? Great question, Kay. I will tell you firsthand, when you close your door in the evening, whether it's a roomette or a bedroom, it locks. So there is locks on the door from the inside. Okay, so you can lock your door at night when you go to bed. So very, very safe, Kay. Let's see, and great questions, everyone. Are there accommodations for people that have mobility issues? Yvette, thank you so much for asking that question. Yes, there absolutely is. Rule of thumb is we have 1 to 2 handicap accessible rooms available on each of the overnight journeys out to the national parks, or certainly throughout the United States. So definitely keep that in mind, Yvette. They are available, obviously, on a very limited basis because, again, there's typically only 1 to 2 available in each of the sleeping cars, but they are available. Just let us know or let your local travel agent know as well. All right, let's see. Okay, just moving along. Great questions, everyone. Let's see. I would like to travel single. This is from E. McNabb. If I reserve a roomette, will there be a stranger who will be assigned to the roomette with me? Great question. The answer is no. When you travel as a single, um, you'll get the room for yourself. Now, as many of you may be aware, certainly if you travel as singles, and by the way, 22% of our travelers, everyone travel as singles or solo travelers. So always know we have so many travelers. And again, remember, 32 million people traveled on Amtrak last year. But to answer your question, no one will get assigned in the same room. So you would have your own private room. You would just have to pay the single rate, which obviously will be more than the double rate. Okay, but you absolutely would have your own room. Okay. Question, great, thank you. Question from Diane, is it possible to take the train to the Grand Canyon, stay an entire week, and then take the train to return home? Diane, absolutely yes, yes, and yes. Again, any trip can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like. Okay, let's see. From Richard, you said that there were transfers that take place in Flagstaff. Why are they not, why there and not directly into Williams? Great question, Richard. So Amtrak now it's uses Flagstaff because it's more of a full service station. There's there's a shop inside the station. There's some stores. So basically, Amtrak uses Flagstaff as it's a much bigger, larger train station, and the shuttle service is about a 25 to 30-minute transfer into Williams. That's all included within all our packages, and then from Williams, as I mentioned, that's when you get to board on the Grand Canyon Railway. Okay, great question. Let's see. All right, good to know. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate all the kind words, everyone. Let me see. Da-da-da. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm in Florida. Okay, so the doors lock when you're sleeping, so your valuables cannot be taken. Yes, absolutely, Kay. I will tell you, I've been on multiple overnight trips. Every time I go to bed, I lock the door, and I will say very, very, very safe because again, you can lock it right from the inside of a roomette or bedroom. Handicap accessible or access, absolutely. They do have red cap service at all the train stations, so if any of you need any extra help getting on and off the train, certainly with your luggage, all you need to do, just ask the red cap service. It's a small, they always suggest a small little tip for the gentlemen and women who may help you board any of the trains if you need that. Just fantastic staff, sincerely. All right, let's see. Again, everyone, you can travel single in a roomette. Again, you would only be the one person in the roomette. You would just have to pay the single rate. Okay. Great questions. Thank you, Jen. Thanks. Let's see. Thanks, everyone. I'm just going through the questions. Let's see. Do you hear the train on the tracks? You know, it's very, very, many times it's just a very light, easy, it's almost like a very easy way to go to sleep too. I always say just a very soft, like, you know, it's nice. It's very relaxing. Okay, thank you. From Gene, are there electric hookups for CPAP machines? Gene, I will tell you firsthand, yes. You know, I actually have one myself, and I have one, but I will highly encourage you to do what I did. If your CPAP takes batteries, plan to have plenty of batteries available just in case. Sometimes the trains itself, during certain aspects, it may take it may go off for a minute or two and then come back on. So our advice always, and I did it myself, is just make sure any of you that need CPAP machines to bring your machines that work on batteries, and obviously just to have that available to you. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Nice. Thanks. Appreciate the kind words. Let's see. Are the windows kept clean? Yes, absolutely, Arnold. Very good. And I will say, too, again, when you're in, whether it's coach, roomette, or bedroom, obviously you have some great views throughout the journey. And they always are kept clean, and especially not only in any of the seating area, but also with the sightseeing lounge car as well. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, we are at 11 o'clock on the dot Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much, sincerely, for joining me. Thank you for your fantastic questions. More than anything, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. We hope you pick up that phone, give us a call, or contact your local travel agent to book any of these exciting trips. And again, if you want to take advantage of that special booking discount, again, everyone, please make sure you book before April 4th of this year to travel anytime in 2018. As long as you upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom, if you do, we'll take $100 off the total price, just as a way of saying thank you to each and every one of you. So on behalf of myself and Amtrak Vacations, everyone, we look forward to seeing you, your friends, your family on board soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.